welcome back to the Braw and The Brave, where this week I have the awesome humans that are Weegie Hink Ae That. We have Conor, Eliot. Oh, I love the fanfare. I love the yes, fanfare for Conor and Eliot. Woohoo! Yeah, and you've needed another fanfare. And Gregor.
Yay!
I am absolutely chuffed to bits that you are here. I mean, you need no introduction because surely everybody knows who you are now. I mean, literally viral sensations that you are.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still a bit weird getting recognised and whatnot, but
yeah,
just still waiting for certain family members to like it. So,
certain family members to come back.
If anyone's been living under a rock and doesn't know what Weegie Hink Ae That, what yous are, what would be your elevator pitch?
Do you want to take this?
It's like a sketch comedy show with songs that's kind of like chewing the fat. It's kind of like karaoke. It's kind of like taking the piss out of other songs. It's like a sketch show on Eckies, essentially.
Okay, got you. I loved it. It's a bit of choreography there when you were introducing that. I was enjoying that there.
Yeah. Would you put it in a more professional manner?
Well, listen, you did it your way, and that's all that matters.
You do you.
Yeah, I would say I kind of feel like our whole pitch for me is never to have taken ourselves too seriously. That we're trying to give fast-paced, witty humour with a Scottish twist. But we're actually quite intelligent wee guys behind it all, and I kind of think we're kind of like those three guys in your French classroom at school that just didn't really take it too seriously, but there's something quite charming about them, and I think that's kind of the way that we look at, you know, the culture that we've been brought up around, and there is something really charming about it, and I think we just try and highlight that.
Love that.
That was better.
That's great.
That was better.
Okay.
That's why you are hanging about together.
Yeah.
Right, Eliot, we just need your words of wisdom to just finish it off.
It's absolutely bonkers, and you should buy tickets to come see us.
Yes. So I have literally followed you from day dot. I think from like the original. You know, I'm an OG member. So, but for anyone who doesn't know the backstory, like, how did you meet? Was it in a Fringe class?
No, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So we started off as acting students in Napier. I forgot the name of the uni there. It's been that long ago. Edinburgh Napier Uni, and you had to come up with a theatre company essentially to take to the Fringe for like your end of like fourth year kind of shebang, really. And
that's what it should have been called, a shebang.
A shebang. I mean, I don't know how else you'd call it.
You're facial that. You've just said the word shebang.
Shebang.
Is that a Scottish word?
Shebang? I don't know.
Well, what's that song? Shebang, shebang, she move, she move. What's that original from?
I think that's two words. She bangs.
Oh,
she moves.
excellent.
Yeah, there
Right, I'm not saying that, but yeah, it was a shebang. But anyway, you had to come up with a group to take to the Fringe, and we kind of used to, like, as Gregor would say, just kind of like mess about up the back of the class, just having a laugh and all that. And then it got to a point where we left it to the very last minute, and we're like, we don't have anything in place. And you had all these other groups that had like 6 or 7 members, and then it was left down to us four. And we're like, right, well, not that we don't like each other, but we kind of need to get together to do this. And we also had the thought, like, well, everyone else is going to be doing plays and stuff. But it was a thing where if you had to do a play, you had to get the rights to do it. Yes. Something like that. It was. And then Gregor, being the wily cat that he is, thought, I'll just write something.
Love that.
And then we're like, well, what are we all into? And I was like, well, we've all got a kind of wacky sense of humour, all from west side of Scotland. Mm-hmm. So I thought, right, well, why don't we just kind of touch up on that? Because we all like the same kind of things, like Still Game, Tune the Fat, Burniston, Limmy, all that kind of stuff, all great Scottish comics. And thought, well, why don't we just kind of put that together? And me and Gregor were also like musicians before we started doing acting. So I thought, well, why don't we incorporate songs into it as well?
Triple threats.
Yeah, and then so we all just like
kind of mashed it together.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the reason it became sketches because I could never actually write long form content. I couldn't write a play. So I kind of just thought, all right, I can write a 3-minute sketch. So it just kind of naturally just became a bit of a thing, and we had multiple characters. And back then, when it started, it was so different because as you said, we were acting students. So for us, there was none of this breaking the fourth wall, or it was quite serious, even though it was ridiculous, and some of it was funny back then. So, you know, it was...
You're like, questionable.
Yeah, some of it I would never go near now, but yeah, you know, it was about figuring it out, and I think since then it's been quite weird because we had to find a way to keep it going and make it more of a thing that wasn't just the Fringe. And again, naively, we thought, oh, we could take this to a comedy club, not thinking that maybe 3 guys and a guitar was maybe a bit different. I don't know, but it didn't really bother us, and we kind of, we went in and we did it, and it was very nerve-wracking, but it showed us a different style to comedy. It showed us a different way of engaging with the audience, and kind of just being a bit more self-deprecating. And I think the sketches are the sketches and the songs are the songs, but it's the bits in between that I think pull it all together. And I always say to people that when you come and see us or when you see us online, they're very different things because you're only getting a fraction of it online.
Yes.
But when you actually come to see it, I always think that you can be funny, but people invest in people and who you are, and I think we do a really good job at giving out our personalities, I think.
Do you not think it's quite mad to think that if we hadn't went to like comedy clubs and kind of like took in everything that we learnt from that and put it into what we do now, you think it would be like quite a very, very different thing if we stuck to like not breaking the fourth wall and all that?
Yeah, I don't think we would have learned. I don't think, because I think, you know, it's the same with in like the creative arts industry anyway. You have to go through rejection or you have to go through moments that are somewhat embarrassing to learn your craft.
100%, yeah.
And, you know, I think...
Yeah, and that interaction thing, that is a skill. That is like another skill, isn't it? Like to like pull in an audience, you know, and make them part of it. Because I think it's that whole thing, that ownership. If an audience feels part of something, then they're more on board. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a total skill to be able to have that kind of rapport with, you know, not just stand on a stage and, you know, recite lines or whatever. Yeah. Not that is not hard work as well, but it's just a completely different skill, you know.
It was quite a scary thing as well when we first started doing that, because it's like, obviously coming from an acting background, you're kind of like, obviously when you're acting, you're in your own kind of like world that you've created in your head as well as like the set around you. But with this now starting to like be more interactive with audience members and stuff, it's quite, when we first started doing that, I was terrified because I was like, I don't know, this feels very, very, very like weird. Like,
exposing maybe, like I guess you're putting so much of yourself. Because you're like, we think it's funny. There's other people think it's funny or cool.
A lot of the time they didn't. A lot of the time they didn't.
Well, where are they now?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have a bit of a rule of thumb with that stuff that anytime that something new is written or brought into the table, if we're not laughing at it, then we probably shouldn't do it. It's just, and I think as long as we find it funny, I think that brings a bit more of the genuineness to it. Because there are times you do want to just play into the things you think people want from you. But
I bet.
Then you stop challenging yourself and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, like know your brand almost as well as like know your thing. Like I had a 1940s, 50s dance troupe, and I remember people sometimes used to ask us to do like, we do a Charleston, and I was like, no, like we're 1940s, 50s, that's the 20s. Like I think sometimes you just need to be like, go with your gut, almost like what you're saying, like just know who you are, trust your own judgment. Like lots of things are funny. We could do lots of things that you know would totally work, but this is who we are and this is what we do. We write songs about seagulls in Aberdeen. That I'm like, I'll say that, and anybody listening to this is like, oh, I know that. Like, I literally was driving the day and I was singing it. Yeah. I mean, it's genius. Genius level.
That was... Do you want to tell the story about
No, you can tell it.
No,
it's your baby.
No, I was talking a lot. You
it was...
Go on.
Essentially, Gregor had wrote the premise of it, and then we were driving up to Aberdeen to do a gig, and he was like, come pass me that guitar, Eliot. And he started playing it in the front. And then he was like, right, Eliot, you sing this bit. And Eliot started singing it. And I just started going, wah, 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 wah. I was like, oh, no, that's good. We'll keep that in. And then that night we went and we sang it. We were like, we had the lyrics up on our phone. And we're like, we're just going to sing like a new song for you. Hopefully it's no shite. And then we sang it. And
now it's
we've not managed to get away from it since, unfortunately.
But I guess people are now requesting it. You kind of have to do it.
Yeah, I think it's what... You go to a pub, like, you know, a lot of pubs, that's what you hear now. People come going, who's the seagulls guys? Seagull guys.
So from that Napier show that, you know, and then going, right, okay, we've got something here, like, was it an immediate, like, we're going to give this a go, we're going to take it to the comedy clubs, or is it just a bit of a, like, let's just see what happens?
It was kind of like we were doing it as a Fringe thing, and then we'd done a couple of shows in Glasgow.
Okay.
And it was mainly just friends and family that came to it. And then it started becoming difficult because of COVID and stuff like that. And then we were coming back as a 3, and we were having a discussion like, do you think it'll work as a 3? Because we were always a 4 before then, and we'd only ever done like a 5-minute spot at a comedy club before lockdown, and we thought, we'll book a show and we'll do it as a 3 and we'll see how it feels. And we'd done the more, and we enjoyed it, and it went a lot better than we thought it was going to go, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then we sort of fell back into doing 5 minutes at a comedy club for £20 between the 3 years, and then it just sort of kept going, doing 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then it was like a case of we were able to do the solo stuff and the comedy club stuff. And then we met a good pal, Gary Miko, who was like, you just want to come and open for me? And then it just opened like a completely different audience and a completely different sort of perspective on it, which was great.
Brilliant.
He gave us it was a class opportunity, because we hadn't done a lot of the kind of comedy clubs at that point.
Okay.
And I'd been writing some short stuff sketches for BBC, and asked if Gary would play my dad in it. And then just on the whim, we were like, well, we'll just shoot him a message and see if he would give us a gig. And I don't think he'd seen us live before or anything like that. He just took a gamble on it.
Nice one.
Just really paid off. And it was a wild time, because just on the lockdown thing, me and Connor used to play Warzone every single day.
Okay.
So we would just be sat on Xbox playing this game, and we were always talking about, are we going to kind of... Because no one knew us at that point. Like, not really. I mean, as Connor said, it was pretty much family and friends. We used to... When we did those shows, we used to go about all our hometowns putting up posters that I'd printed off of my mum's printer.
Yep.
And we'd be sticking up on lampposts and wherever we could. And, it was a graft. It was a proper graft back then. And it was during lockdown we kind of discovered the internet and how we could use it.
Yep.
And I think that suited us, because we were kind of on that verge of adapting the brand, and we realised that it doesn't need to be a 1 hour long stage show. It could be doing 5-10 minutes at a comedy club. Oh, well, now it could also be a 45-second reel. And they all just kind of happened at the same time. And then when the restrictions lifted, that's right, all the tour stuff just kind of came in, and it was some time, man. It's only been like 3 years, kind of only really
That's
3 years
amazing.
that it's kind of happened. But
You're just totally soaring. It's lovely to see, because when you're talking, and this is what I like about the podcast, the kind of long form is, because you're saying like you're not getting the full story. I guess people are just seeing a clip or something online. I'm interested, like, in the creative process, has that changed over the years of you being together?
Well, Gregor writes it, and then he comes to us and we go, nah, that's not good.
I mean, that's
yeah, and then I
you
go and
censored yourself there.
No, he'll write it, and then we'll read through it, and then we'll just get up and start doing it if we think it's funny, and then it's like it just sort of develops for there.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have your kind of individual roles in the group in terms of the creative process,
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I think, like, what is it we've said before, it's kind of like you get the ice cream and then there's the sprinkles on top. Mm-hmm. And there's like I'll bring an idea, and it is just a case of usually we'll sit with it and we'll play about with it. And you kind of, actually at that point, you kind of lose who did what or who brought what to it. Because it's kind of just a mash of everybody by that point. Especially,
you're putting your fingerprint on it at that point.
Yeah. You take the part that you want to do and you turn it into the thing you want it to be. And I think that's part of the fun of it, that when we do these shows, we constantly try and keep each other present within it.
Yes.
Like, we don't let you just fall to the script that you've got. There's always bits that are chucked in or added, or, Connor will throw something in to make us laugh, or vice versa. We'll do something. And I think that comes with comfortability in what you are and what your thing is. And
of course,
I don't think our goal was ever to try and be the funniest people about, or we were never trying to what do you call it? We were never trying to be something else. We were just trying to be a combination of the things that we like.
You like, yeah.
In our way.
It makes it genuine, and that's what I think people get that from it. They see something that is genuine, like you're having a lovely time, and people want to support that. And I think Scotland does good in that sense. Like, they get behind your own when, people are grafting and they're making something of themselves and they're creating and putting their thing out in the world, because that's your baby. No, that's a hard thing to do. I mean, like working in the arts, and I've sat and spoke to so many people about the same thing. It's like putting your thing out in the world, like you're saying, like you think it's funny, but then the minute you give it to an audience, you're like, going to be nice to my baby. Has there been moments along the way that you're like, I'll just have my baby back, thanks? You know, like, have there been those moments where you're like, oh gosh, that was terrifying, like putting that thing out for the first time or trying that joke or that song?
Yeah, well, the first ever show that we did, even like way back when we were like a 4, like still in uni, when we played at Cotters in Glasgow.
Wow, okay.
And there was about 110 people or something like that. It came, something like that anyway, but once it started to fill up, we were only expecting to maybe get about like 40 people in max, just with a combination of friends and family. Then like a bunch of people came, and I just remember standing there, and then Gregor turning around going like that. Oh God, I was like, what is it? He was like, what if this is shit? Like, we didn't really let that register in our minds that like, oh, this could be.
I love the naivety of it though. You just go for it. You're like, well, we're here now.
Looking back, it was a terrible idea. Like, we didn't show anybody anything. The first time that we showed anybody it was when we were doing the show. So like, we never sat down and said, right, we're going to do the show for you. Tell us what's good, tell us what's bad. We just done the show. Yeah. And then we were like, right, that's it, let's go and do it.
Aye, we were all 21 at the time, so I was still living at my mum and dad's, and I remember like Amazon packages would be coming in with all these different props and whatnot that we'd bought, and my dad would just be watching them come through the door like, what is he doing? Where is he going with those things? What is that?
But trust the process.
But that trust the process, I think you do though, and even at times when you don't, you still need to, because from those early ones especially, there's stuff that I'm actually kind of grateful it was only family and friends that saw it, because the stuff that didn't work, but you need to have those moments of like a seed has been planted. Yes. And we always talk about that regardless of all the new things that happen now. I mean, we used to write this stuff and we didn't think it would go anywhere. We just were meeting up every week because we just enjoyed meeting up every week. And now when you meet up and we have to do these new shows, we're doing it because we know we're out on tour and we've got management and bookers that are now involved in that process.
Yes.
So I always try and think back to those days where we just used to sit and do it for the love of doing it, because you have to hold on to those like wee moments of, because it still feels new when we sit and come up with a new concept. That is like the first time you've done it. I keep doing this with my hands, but that's the first time.
Philosophical.
Yeah. It's the first time.
Yeah, it's the charm of that, like naivety, like back in the old, back in the day kind of thing. Yeah, that's great. Like, it's important to keep that kind of, not like the kind of why are you doing it thing. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Like, why are we playing at shops is what I usually say. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like I'm like, this is playing at shops. Like, this is like a Mickey Mouse job. Do you know what I mean? Like, who else gets to do this? You know, I guess there'll be moments for you, like you've all got your own individual moments where you're like, I was on stage or we were in this venue, or like pinch me moments, for want of a better term. Like, do you have one, Conor, where you're like, mind that time?
Probably the one we done the Pavilion Theatre.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was... I was just before going on stage, and my granddad worked there as like a stagehand, and then my dad worked there as a stagehand, and I was like, I need to one up them here. I'm going to do a show. It was kind of like the thought of like looking out and seeing how many people were there, and it was like 2 years ago we were doing this to like 30 people for nothing, and now these people have actually paid to come and see us. It was like a weird sort of, obviously imposter syndrome, but then it's like they're here to see you. Let's just go and have fun, really.
That's great. That's lovely. What about you, Eliot? Do you got one that comes to mind? I'm sure there's several.
There's a load of stuff that we've done now that you just like, you forget about how many things you've done. I think a standout moment for me was probably the first ever music festival we did. We played Belladrum up in Inverness.
So I played Belladrum back in 2010. We were on just after, you are too young, you'll not remember him, Mr. Boom.
He was there.
He was there
when we were there.
He's there.
So we were on after Mr. Boom with the cymbal, and he said no. And although he did speak to me like an adult, and I was like, my dreams were crushed because I was like, that's Mr. Boom, and he was like, oh, hi, he's doing all right, and I was like, oh, he's not talking to me like I'm 5. Bella, how good's Belladrum? Like, that was the first and only time that I've been, and ever since I've been like, I need to go back to Belladrum as a punter. Loved it. Such a great festival. Anyway, so I interrupted you there, Eliot, but Belladrum is the place to be.
I'll just say it was just wild. I think it was I think the reason it was a pinch me moment for me was because I think I surprised myself, or we surprised ourselves, because of just how bouncing the tent got. I think we weren't expecting it to be like that mental.
Brilliant.
And then to have people sing your songs back to you as well was a pure like, oh my God, this is a bit...
It's so cool.
I remember looking at him and I'm like, this is a good one here.
Living the dream. That's brilliant.
But no, that's definitely one of my favourite moments, I'd say. Just
and it's lovely how you can take your show, like you've just mentioned the Pavilion. Now you're at Belladrum. Do you know what I mean? That's the joy of it. It kind of is almost like crossover into different realms, because there's a bit of everything. There is song, there's comedy, there's stories, there's the three of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's lovely how it's very unique. It's very unique what you do. And I think probably bringing that into the comedy world, not everybody's standing up there with guitars and props and singing and acting, and it's total class. I love it. I love it. Have you got a pinch me moment, Gregor?
See, you said Belladrum, and I was going to
Damn
say
it,
that.
I was gonna say that.
There's one at the minute, but it's kind of just like an overall one. It's not down to one gig, but we do on that last tour that we did. We do meet and greets and stuff, which I guess you could be a bit like, who do they think they are?
Love it.
But we you know, because you do the internet, some people always ask, could you do it?
Of course.
I think it's whenever we do those, and you know, I always tell myself, these are cities that I've maybe only ever been to once in my life, or I've never done anything there. We've never been there before. But yet you're going into these places, you're doing well in the theatres, and then people are sticking around to meet you. And these are people you don't know, but they're giving you their time, and you know, they're wanting to speak to you and stuff. And I think that for me is like a who are we? Do you know what I mean? We're just three wee guys who are just trying to do this thing, and it's just nice to see that you. I think that's probably my pinch me moment, is that you wouldn't have thought you're kind of building a community around a thing that you're doing, and there's something really... That's
the key word, that is community, and that's, for me, this is what the Braw and The Brave, like, you're now indoctrinated into the community, by the way. You're now bra bags, you do know that, don't you? If I had a badge, I'd give you it. I keep saying that. I've been saying that for about 5 years. I'm like, I need to get these badges printed. Everybody wants one. But that, for me, that was what I wanted the podcast to be, a community. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause amazing people, grafters doing what they love, putting their baby out in the world, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I find you massively inspiring. And I'm so appreciative that you're here, because I have followed you from like day dot. Really, I'm like pure OG member, and it's just lovely to see that people doing the thing that they love and excelling at it and still enjoying it. I mean, like, well done is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I talk a lot. Cheers. Well done. It's total class. I'm so chuffed that people are getting to experience what you do and loving it and being part of it. Like you're saying, like that community thing, it's really important. And I think, you know, in Scotland, we do get behind our own kind of thing. And Scottish humour, because I love Scottish panto. We were talking about panto before we came on. Like, it's a world of its own. It's its own unique thing. And the whole, what you think of that? I mean, the name alone. Was that always the name?
Yeah,
it was always the name, but do you know what? For the life of me, I can't remember how we actually came. It was like everyone had a bit of a word that they wanted in, and it kind of just...
Yeah, I've no idea. It's just been there.
It's stuck. It just is. It is what it is. Yeah. I love it, though. I love it. Yeah, totally.
Probably change it now, though.
No, don't! It's great.
Oh, it's caused a lot of problems. You see now that people are actually...
They're like, people don't know...
Like, what's your name again? Like, what are you... Okay, what do you think of them? What do you think of that?
Looking at, from an outsider looking at the name, actually reading it, it just looks like gibberish.
Keep the Scots language alive.
I know, I agree.
Hey,
yeah,
you're on the Braw and The Brave. Do you know what I mean? So... This is all leading up to me asking you, like, if people haven't seen you live and are now going, I need to go and see, I've seen the boys do that song about the seagulls. Where can people see you next? What's happening? What's in the calendar?
Well, we're on tour starting June 15th or 14th in Liverpool, then London.
We're going to Liverpool?
We're going to Liverpool. Yeah, so we're heading down to Liverpool, then London the day after.
Oh my gosh.
Coming back up doing Livy, lovely Livingston. Then we're doing 2 days in Glasgow. Towards the end of June. Then we're off in July. Then we're back out in tour the start of August. Don't remember the dates. And then
I can help you.
He can help me.
Oh, there you go.
7th, 8th, 9th and 10th.
And we are in Alloa, Saltcoats, Falkirk and Forres.
Yeah.
And then we're doing the Fringe for a week from the 18th to a week after the 18th.
With a brand new show.
With a brand new show. And then hopefully back out in tour.
And do your shows have, like, so has this show got a name?
So we used to give them names, and we just decided we're not going to do that anymore. We just call it Weegie Hink Ae That, because it's kind of, they change every time we do them, even if it's the same content that's kind of the helm of it. There's always something new.
Of course.
Or we'll chop and change. We'll put old songs in, or with a mixture of new ones. So try not to give them names, because we don't want to
hem yourself in.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think that's all right. Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah.
It is.
I'm actually gutted that I didn't ask you to bring a guitar, because we could have had a wee sing song at the end of this. I'll put all the links and stuff in the show notes so people will know where to find you. If I were to ask you, I do tend to ask everybody in the podcast, because it's called the Braw and The Brave, because you are called Weegie Hink Ae That, what is your favourite Scots word or phrase?
I've got a favourite one just now. It's just came back. I think it's louping.
Oh, louping. My head's louping.
My head's louping. Aye.
Yeah.
So I've not heard that in ages.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Probably a classic. Probably Bonnie. Just, I think it's quite delicate, and I don't know, for being quite like, people around the world always view our accent where we're from as quite harsh and quite in your face. But the word Bonnie is just, it's got a delicacy about it. Well, a delicacy. It's quite delicate.
No, that is. Right.
Right.
That's lovely. The Bonnie Banks.
Yeah.
Nice. And here comes Gregor. He's like, can I swear on this podcast?
No, I found another. I don't know if this actually counts as a Scottish phrase, but it's ingrained in my memory as being very Scottish, and it was in Still Game, and it's when it's the hypermarket episode, the hyperdales or whatever.
Oh yeah.
One. And then Isa's crying about Naveed firing her, and she turns around and he goes, and he said, to Isa, I never ate to anything. It's just like the best thing in the world. I just love it. So I don't know if that counts, but that's fine.
I love it. We'll take it. Love it. Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for being on the Braw and The Brave. I wish you continued success. Enjoy. Go and enjoy yourselves. Have a lovely time. And I'll be sure to put all the details in the show notes, as I say, so that everybody can come and see us. I need to come and see us live. So I'm that person online that's like. So I'm definitely going to come and see you live this time. And thanks for being Braw Bags.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Please join us next time on the Braw and The Brave.